The candidates are all going to speak. They each have 10-minute period uninterrupted. There's no engaging of opponents' opinions. They're speaking their opinions and what their solutions are. I'll be providing a card at 3 minutes, 1 minute, and when your time is up. After all of the candidates have their 10-minute speaking time, we'll have the question and answer period. Candidate responses are limited to 1 minute per question.
Our next speaker will be Tarik Abdelazim, who is running on the Democratic ticket for Broome County Executive. Tarik? Thank you.
Hi, good evening. It's great to be able to be here today, so thank you. I really want to just credit you for the ground rules you established and really promoting civic and respectful dialogue. I mean, because at the end of the day, we send our children to the same schools, or we may pray in the same home of worship, and our retired parents may play bingo in the same church also. In the end, we're all neighbors, so it's nice that we can have these discussions respectfully. I was born and raised here in Binghamton, and I came back in 2004. You know, I think like many Americans is that I was losing faith and confidence in our political institutions and our political leaders. I don't have a lot of faith in Washington and solving a lot of our problems. So you can do two things. You can disconnect and despair, or you can roll up your sleeves and be a part of the solution. So as somebody who has always called this place home and always want to call this place home, I thought it would be fascinating to commit my experience, my leadership, take my private sector management skills, and apply that to serving folks here in my hometown. I've been Deputy Mayor and the Director of Planning, Housing, and Community Development for the last 6 years. We've probably been presiding in Binghamton during 6 of the most trying years in the history of the city. There's no question about that. With 3 devastating floods in 2006, 2 of them, a flash flood, and then the 3rd one just this last September, facing kind of the fallout from one of the worst economic collapses in the history of our nation since the Great Depression, and then changes both at the state and at the county, seeing the sales tax formula change, so all the towns and villages had to give up some of the sales tax to help the county with their fiscal deficits, the state freezing or holding state aid, but yet still the cost of unfunded mandates going up. So a whole storm of factors. And I'm really proud of the work we did, because you can be caretaker of a dying town, or you can be proactive. You can identify your priorities, you can stay laser focused, you outline a vision, and you have a commitment to get there. And I think over the 6 years, we've seen dramatic changes. We've seen record levels of private investment. In Binghamton, we're seeing a complete transformation of our downtown that can serve as a model for downtown Endicott, for downtown Johnson City, and for even some of our smaller village centers. So I want to talk a little bit about what I believe are the 4 priorities, having talked with thousands of residents from the rural and urban communities as well as business owners, and how my experiences at the city can help with that, and then what I hope to do with the county. Clearly the 4, jobs in the economy. Donna and I didn't compare notes beforehand, but they're pretty close. Jobs in the economy, taxes and services, helping our neighborhoods recover from the floods, so rebuilding our urban and rural communities, and fracking. I hear it all the time. Those are the 4. So jobs in the economy. How does government, as Julie mentioned, create the conditions for investments? Because I believe that that's the role of government. Well, one, I was actually asked to serve on our region's Economic Development Council. I was selected to serve on the energy work group because of my leadership the last 4 years in creating jobs in energy. And specifically what? Home energy improvements. You know, how many of you out there have $300 utility bills in the winter? I was pretty sick and tired of that. And so working with the city, you know, when you hear particularly that from low-income seniors, you recognize that, one, we have to do something. How do we fix this? And the same thing, why is the federal government and the state passing down money to a lot of low-income tenants to pay for leaky homes, you know, $300, $400 utility bills? We can fix this. We can save money, both tax dollars as well as homeowners. We can create local jobs. They haven't yet figured out how to lift up a home, ship it to China, get it retrofitted and come back. So these are local jobs. And the third thing also is then obviously the environmental benefits. We've been doing that very successfully here in the city, working with our partners at the state. We passed probably one of the most innovative energy efficiency statewide programs in the country. I'm really proud of the governor, the Senate, and the Assembly for doing that this last year. Because we were positioned, because we were proactive, now we are leading the state, the Southern Tier. There's going to be a big press conference next year. Another, I think it's a single mother who went forward, a young homeowner, with the program. 30% reduction in the utility bills. That's money in your pocket. That's money that you could circulate in the local economy and support our small business owners. What I can do at the county is obviously take some of those successes, but I also believe that we need to create a dedicated fund for economic development. I've talked with all the leaders when I was on the regional council. What's the problem in Broome County? They've never been serious about economic development. Well, under my leadership, we're going to get serious. I believe we could take at least $1 million, up to $2 million of our sales tax off the county share, and then figure out a fair redistribution formula to create a fund called Accelerate Our Prosperity. These will support our small business owners. These will support a lot of these energy efficiency improvements. These will also support our farmers. And that's my second piece, is I'm probably going to be the only county executive that outlines a very aggressive agricultural plan. I believe that agriculture plays a vital role in our regional economy. I want to open up new market opportunities for our farmers. We can do that. Anybody heard of yogurt recently? Right? Big yogurt summer. It's a value-added product. A lot of our farmers, and I've worked with them for the last 3 years through the Food and Health Network of South Central New York, they said we need more processing facilities right here. And if we had that in Broome County, we could become the entire food hub for the whole Southern Tier. That's creating industrial jobs, and again, it's supporting our rural farmers. It's attracting the next wave of young farmers. I want to be in the county executive office to make that happen. There's also, we can grow our energy. Fort Drum, up in upstate New York, they just retrofitted a coal-fired power plant on their base to a biomass facility. The first thing they did was they reached out to all of the timbers and the farmers, and they said, we need feedstock. You want to sign a contract? Created new market opportunities for the farmers, and that's a very sustainable way to grow the energy. You remember when we had, and this is a key, it's building resilience and removing vulnerability from our energy systems. Remember when a tree fell, what was that, 2003 or 2005, and blackout from Ohio to Maine? You know, when we have smarter systems, local regional systems that are supporting our local regional economy, we also remove that kind of vulnerability from our systems, protecting the security of our residents and businesses. Taxes and services. I've been the lead in consolidation efforts at the city. Whenever we had a challenging problem, the mayor would be like, Tarik, can you lead this? So I would. We consolidated tax collection and enforcement to the county in my first 8 months. They said, oh, we'll break you, City Hall. You can't break status quo. We proved them wrong. And then I consolidated financial services, IT services, planning services, and housing services to the county with a recurring savings of more than $1 million. We can do that at the county. We just have to have experience in leadership. We have to have focus. Neighborhood recovery. I had to lead blight prevention efforts in the city of Binghamton. Anybody see one of those homes with the grass that's not been mowed in a while and the broken window and the boarded up? Those are safety hazards. They depress your market values of your home, and they also drain local resources. Your parks department goes around and takes care of those. We need to fix that. For my efforts at the city, 2 years in a row, best in state, from New York Conference of Mayors, an award of excellence in public administration management. Our strategies are now being replicated in Utica and other upstate cities. That's leadership. I believe that what I learned in the city in dealing with that, I can help all of the towns and villages with this serious problems. There are solutions, and I'll be rolling them out in the next couple weeks. I just see my time limited. The last thing, fracking. No matter who I'm standing in front of, I'm very consistent. I'm not for it. I'm just not. I've heard it best from a Republican woman in town of Shenango. She said, I'm not ready to risk the health of my child to possibly give my cousin a job. As county executive, I'm in exile on this issue. This issue is going to be determined by local municipalities, exactly where it should be. Home rule authority. You make the decision. But what the county executive should be doing is acting like a homeowner, a new homeowner, taking the necessary steps to protect the safety and health of your loved ones. You get the fire extinguisher under the sink. You install the carbon monoxide detector. You put the security alarms on the door. That's what we should be doing. And it's not happening. There's no leadership. Instead, there is a move to say Broome's ready to go. And in the town of Shenango, an entirely Republican board, they're looking at a one-year moratorium because they're saying, we're not ready to go. I want to be the assistant to them. I want to lend the planning resources, the legal resources, my team's resources to help our towns and villages to prepare so that we can protect the health and safety of our loved ones. So I'm happy to also address any questions you have, but thank you again so much for coming here tonight. It's very important for a vital democracy that we have informed and engaged citizens, so thank you for playing that role.